back to another episode of Project Meditusa 2, the fourth evolution of the project. It's a slice of life, real life. And Meditusa 2 is a combination of various concepts from manifestation to mythology to Marcus Aurelius to meditations to Medusa. And so, again, we broadcast every, well, right now we're live on Twitch, but then we also broadcast and upload every 6 a.m. morning to Spotify and YouTube. You can find us there. So 3 platforms on podcast, video, and also on live stream. So today's concepts, without further ado, a 5-minute stream doesn't take very long, is going to cover certification. As I mentioned in the previous episode, we've been ingrained into another degree, which is interesting because I already have a degree, and I always planned to continue learning, but I didn't think it'd be maybe this soon or happen this way. But it's certainly a degree that I'm very interested in, and I'm taking something that is between a bit of a master's and PhD. So what we're going to be discussing today are I guess, failed instances. These are I wouldn't say it's like a blue screen. And again, by the way, the methodology here comes in the form of like ASMR, and we are whispering. Right, it's trying to make things a little bit smooth and relaxing. And that's partly because we have to. But needless to say, we have 2 tabs here, which if you're watching over on the video format of the podcast, I've blotted out a little bit with the rows graphic, and that's because it does show the location, and I don't want to disclose any private information. But basically over there, there's the first tab we have open here is the creating financial statements chapter, which was completed, and then there's essentially a certificate that you can save, upload, download, and then upload onto your, say, your portfolio, whether it's on Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever. And basically that's it's like a little award to demonstrate that you have some proficiency in a particular skill set. Now, I would argue, of course, once again, experience trumps theory every time, so until you've applied it, it doesn't mean too much, but basically, at least you have some sort of certificate to demonstrate that you have the theoretical foundations and you apply some practice, at least on the book, but you've got to also apply it in the field as well. So I have it blocked out, but basically the file says not found, and that's only because I've changed the name of the file, but otherwise it is the certificate to create financial spreadsheets. Or statements, not spreadsheets. The next one that we have here, and I'm not sure what's going on here, it seems to... Right, the next one we have is one for managerial accounting. So this one is, the parallel between financial and managerial accounting. One is for internal use, and usually has to do with projected values and costs and incomes, so we're anticipating into the future. And then the other, financial accounting, is a historical. It's about the past revenue, the past costs, and in particular that's for external use, not internal. It's not for your own staff or managers or district directors and executive or big board of directors. It's for the shareholders. That's what it's for. It's for the public. It's for the consumer market to have some transparency around the operations, or at least the net financing structure of your business. Okay. Now, there's usually less detail in the financial statements than there would be in, say, for example, in the master budgets, which would be internal documents. And lastly, the last thing we'll cover. Oh, by the way, I just realized I covered the wrong content. Wait, no, it's the right one. Got a little freeze over there. On the very top right, I do want to mention that the title is a bit of a play on words. So game 7 of 9 today. It's like thinking Jays and Raptors and whatnot. So over here in game 7, I split it because there's a tab out here for Zoom and Calendly, which is we have lots of events for our program degree, and you can sign up to them virtually. In fact, I'm going to go on my podcast episode as well as my video episode right now, and show just a brief graphic of the. Right, so it says, sorry, the event you're looking for can't be found, and that's because these events have all been past tense now. So these events I can remove them right to the graphic now. And so it used to be that I would, and I will continue to, apply for, not apply, but RVSP and register for more events, right, to just get engaged with the core and the network. And just learn more about there are a lot of interesting concepts and themes here, a lot of interesting speakers and guest speakers. Anyways, in this case, the event is not looking for, and so because it's already past tense by about a month, and the event was already hosted, but at the time, you'd have to apply and then get register, and after RVSP, you would get access to the event. After attending the event, it would be on Zoom. So something that I put on the title, it's a little bit of play on words, is because I just want to end off on this because it's a little bit funny, right? Because in all three tabs that we covered in this particular episode, there are things that have kind of like failed, right? It's like past tense, the event on Calendly is past, the Zoom meeting is past, the presentations, the guest speakers, we've already watched it, and then we also have the certificates, which we changed the names for, so those documents have been reworked, renamed, and stored somewhere else. But as a play on words, not only did I put, say Zoom versus Calendly or certification on the title, I wanted to do a play on words because when I wanted to cover up using a privacy graph, I usually use the rows, but I couldn't do it this time because it's a window limitation with the operating system. So they're trying to apply automatic privacy controls. So in this case, what I did is I took a screenshot of Microsoft Groove, or the music player app on the Windows operating system, and on it, because it's a real throwback, but that's Mobb Deep or Prodigy. Yeah, there's Prodigy, and rest in peace, RB, as well as from Prodigy from Mobb Deep. Okay, you think of 8 Mile, and the other one is Kdot or Kendrick. And so, the ones I've been listening to right now that were relevant and applicable, and it was Watch the Party Die, as well as I can't remember the other one, but the point is they were shown on the music player, and I thought that it would be kind of interesting and a little funny, a good creative throwback by decades, to toss those tracks, and 3 tracks, on top of our title as well. So it's a little game 7 out of 9 is actually Kdot or Kendrick versus Prodigy from Mobb Deep. But not in actuality, but alright, with that being said, that's enough going around. That's the end of this episode. If you feel any, if that throws you back to the time when you had musical connections to, I guess emoji gangster rap back then, or also the most recent Kendrick drop, and after the Drake beef, and the takedown with something like 2023, so it's very recent, right? On track is from way back when track's fairly recent. And if you attend any meetings on Zoom or business meetings and whatever you feel like is relevant, feel free to drop a comment and leave it here, either Spotify, YouTube, or Twitch, or whatever. And I'll see y'all in the next one. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and whatever the fuck it is. I'll see you next one. Cheers. I'm a little bit too happy with the title.